My name is Yukina Shioyasu, a 32-year-old housewife. I'm going to tell you about a sarcastic mum friend who brags about her wealth. I work at a cafe, not the kind of cafe with self-service counters, but a cafe with full service, with a retro atmosphere. I work full-time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I work as hard as our manager. In addition to that, I also have a side job and I'm raising a child. I'm very busy every day. The reason is that my husband quit his job. We used to be a normal family. My husband, Toshiya, is 2 years older than me, and our daughter, who is in kindergarten. I used to only work 3 to 4 days part-time at this cafe. My husband used to work as a professor in college. He became a professor right after graduating from college, so despite having a career of 10 years plus, one day,
I'm home.
My husband arrived home at 1 p.m. from school. I was surprised that he came home so early. You're home early? Did something happen? Are you sick? It was the first time something like that had happened in our 7 years of marriage. I was shocked by his reply.
I quit my job. I don't want to be a teacher anymore.
He shouted. When I asked him the whole story, he said that a monster parent had been on him. He kept dealing with unreasonable complaints and requests, and not being able to bear it any longer, he splashed coffee on the monster parent. Then he resigned and came home. Of course, I tried to convince him to return to work, but he firmly told me that he doesn't want to be a teacher anymore. So I had no choice but to work more hours. I now have to work during the day and night. Hey, Yukina! I heard a rumor, listen. Sure, what is it? Is it true that your husband quit his job? How did you know? Mrs. Kimura had a child in middle school, right? That child went to the school where your husband was working. I see. You're right. Also, I just happened to hear this too. I don't think it's true, but you heard about the coffee too? What? So it's true? Did he really splash coffee on one of the parents? Right, I didn't really see him do it, but he told me so. How could he do such a thing? Was he stressed that much? He said she was a monster parent who complained about my husband declining her request. I see, that's tough. But isn't it too much to splash coffee? He's probably mentally sick or something. Well, he might be experiencing something. Anyway, he's undergoing rest and recuperation. So does that mean he's not planning on going back to work? Right. I'm sorry, I have to do something. No, it's fine. I'm sorry. Let's continue tomorrow. That person is Kaori Nonami. I think she's the same age as me. Her son goes to the same kindergarten as my daughter. So she and I met as mums. However, she's a difficult person. Look at this coat! I bought it in France and it cost around $1,500. She boasts about her stuff. She says it so seriously that everyone has a hard time when she's around. Everyone feels uncomfortable when she boasts. Then after chatting with her, "Hi, you're really here!" Thank you. Welcome to the cafe. She came to the cafe where I work at. Despite being at work, she talks to me without hesitation. It's my first time at a place like this, but it has a nice folksy retro feel. Thanks. If only that were all, but she asked me about my life and work. She asked me a lot about my personal life and family. I had nothing to hide, so I answered her questions. I didn't want to lie. But before she left, I told her, I would be happy if you don't tell anyone about what we talked about today. Of course! I won't tell a soul. She replied, but the next day, when I went to fetch my daughter from kindergarten, I felt like the other mums were looking at me and whispering something. I wanted to think that it was just my imagination, but I saw Kaori talking to the other mums in a whisper. I didn't hear what she was telling them, but I think I already know what. Just like that, rumors about my family situation spread. Well, I braced myself that she would do something like that, so it didn't really bother me that much, but on the other hand, my husband, who quit his job, had been coming home late. He didn't find a job, but instead...
Hey, I just got home! Give me water!
He's been pub crawling. Instead of looking for a new job, he's been drinking all day long. Our daughter is afraid of her dad, who has suddenly changed. One day, at a late hour, a man walked into the cafe. Welcome!
Table for one, please.
We both realized at the same time. You're Miss Kaori's...
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't noticed. Nice to meet you again.
This man is Kaori's husband. I think he's about the same age as me. He's still in his 30s, but he's a successful entrepreneur. I only met him once when I went to Kaori's place, but since there were not many customers there, we chatted a bit and surprisingly got along well despite having only met once. However, when I looked at his face, he looked exhausted. He's probably very busy, so... There's a massage parlor near the train station. I recommend it for when you're tired from work. I recommended to him the massage parlor that I often go to, but I haven't been going there lately, so I forgot the name of the shop. It's called... it's at the top of my tongue, but...
That happens sometimes.
We exchanged numbers so I can tell him when I remember the name. Then I sent him a message in the evening. I remember it now! The massage parlor near the train station is called MoniRobo Relaxation. I'll send you the location on the map. I'm sorry it took a while to remember.
Thank you for taking the time to tell me. But, do I really look that much tired?
I'm sorry to say this, but yes, I even thought that you might collapse any time.
I see. I can't even take care of myself. I'm unqualified to be a manager.
You're very busy, it's inevitable. You might feel better if you get a massage.
Actually, it's embarrassing to say this, but I haven't been to a massage parlor before. I'm quite timid, so would you be so kind as to accompany me?
You mean together?
Yes, if you're fine with that. Of course, I'm not forcing you.
I don't mind, but is your wife fine with you going out with a woman?
This is quite embarrassing too, but my wife is disinterested in me. I guess it's that period in a relationship when one gets tired of the other.
I see.
I'm quite flexible with my schedule. I can adjust to your schedule.
Well then, how about on Tuesday when my daughter goes to her friend's house? At 5 p.m. after work?
No problem. 5 p.m. on Tuesday then. I look forward to it.
So we decided to go together. It's been a while since I last met up with someone and went out, so I was nervous. Then we arrived at the massage parlor. He said he'll treat me for accompanying him, so I gladly let him. We enjoyed the massage. After the massage, we still have time. So we decided to have coffee at a nearby cafe. At first we talked about other stuff, but when we started talking about his wife, his expression turned dark. And he continued to talk about his wife. He told me he was having a problem with his wife's spending. No matter how hard he works, his wife spends his earnings on clothes and bags, making him feel empty. I thought that they were wealthy enough that they won't have any financial problems no matter how much they spend, but I guess I was wrong. On top of that, he's suspecting his wife of having an affair, That's why she's getting disinterested in him. After telling me that, he realized he talked too much and said,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have told you about this. It's probably because of exhaustion. I'm very sorry.
Right. He didn't even drink any alcoholic beverage, but he was able to share that. So he's probably really exhausted. I told him not to worry.
I'm really sorry. I don't know why, but you're easy to talk to.
He said with an embarrassed grin. That grin made my heart flutter. Since then, we kept in touch by phone. There are even times when we talked about anything and everything all day. Honestly, I think I'm slowly falling for him. But that doesn't mean I'll do anything about this feeling. However, one day...
I have something to tell you!
Sure. My unusually sober husband told me.
Would you like to go out for lunch next time?
I'm sorry, I don't think I can.
Really? I'm sorry to hear that, but I guess there's nothing I can do about it.
No, it's not like that. If possible, I thought maybe we should refrain from contacting each other.
Did I do something?
No, it's not. Our conversations are very fun, but...
Me too. I don't mind. Could you please tell me the reason?
We went to a cafe yesterday, right?
Right.
My husband's friend happened to see us and told my husband.
Right.
He and I had a bit of a fight. Of course, I told him that nothing happened, but he doesn't believe me.
Is it really not possible? It's probably not my place to say, but you've been doing everything you can for your husband. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking to me sometimes.
Thank you for saying that. I agree with you, but
Then why?
I promised to be with him through ups and downs. I believe that he will get back on his feet. That's why I want to remain faithful.
Your wedding vow? I envy your husband.
When I hung up, my tears started to flow. I realized how much he means to me. Several days after that,
Hey! Is anyone home? Give me water!
my husband shouted like he always does when he's drunk. Usually I just brush it off as appropriate, but that day, don't shout! Go get your water by yourself! I got angry and then we quarreled.
Did you forget what I've done for you? You're so selfish!
He acted like he was about to slap me, but before his palm reached my cheeks, the intercom rang. When I opened the door,
I'm sorry to barge in like this, but is your husband home?
Mamoru was standing in front of me. I didn't know what was happening, so I just nodded to his question. Then he barged in and stood in front of my husband.
There is something I need to talk to you about.
He spread several pictures on the table. I was shocked to see them. They were pictures of Kaori and my husband holding hands and going inside a hotel. Mamoru had his wife investigated and found out that she was with my husband.
How could you do this to your wonderful wife? Aren't you ashamed of yourself?
Mamoru calmly asked my husband with an angry tone. My husband tried to say something, but to no avail. He seemed to remember that he still had to explain to me.
Yukina, listen! It's not what you think! This is just a mistake. You're the one
He wasn't able to finish speaking. That's because I slapped him. He tried to punch me, so I don't care. I believed that you would get back on your feet, but I guess I was wrong. You just showed me who you really are. Just like that, I made up my mind to break up with him. Kaori and my husband were both kicked out of their houses. They're both unemployed. They should be good together. Of course, I got custody of my daughter, and Mamoru got custody of their son, just as expected. What's more is that they both had to pay a huge amount for alimony. I demanded alimony from Kaori and Toshiya, while Mamoru demanded alimony from both of them too. Altogether, it's a hopeless amount. Lastly, Mamoru and I, We both know that we're attracted to each other, but we both have kids, so we refrain from getting too close too quickly. I hope that eventually we can be together.